So when you guys wake up in the morning, you got your coffee, you look at your computer, you look at your phone. What's your process? I want to know, from on a personal level, like how you're sorting out what the hell's going on in the world.
Well, I'm banned from Twitter, so... but distribution by proxy. Distribution by proxy, you know what I mean. I try to read a little bit of everything and try to read between the lines. That's the short of it.
We just had a little backstage extravaganza that wanted to touch on. Ben.
I was watching a series of videos that Mr. James O'Keefe here did early in Project Veritas. So he did this series called New Jersey Teachers Unions Gone Wild.
Thanks for the free advertising.
Yeah. So in one of these videos, he's talking about a teacher who was accused of saying the N-word. One of the things that James said is, do you care about finding out the name of this teacher? And I said, no, because I do not. Because I don't think that if you did a bad thing at some point in your life, you deserve to be nationally named and shamed years later, whatever consequence you might have had at the time, whatever chance for rehabilitation there might have happened. And James, being the supreme media manipulator he is, responded to this by saying, why do you think it's okay to use the N-word, which is obviously not what I said, but then again, James is a liar, so that is in character.
Video can't allege anything. It's an inanimate recording. It quoted the woman, Alyssa Ploshnik, a union official in New Jersey, saying the N-word. She actually said the word. And she said that a teacher was still teaching after calling the student the N-word. As a journalist, isn't it a journalist's ethical duty to find out who that teacher is and report it?
No! Obviously.
All right. Is there any Project Veritas media that you have found valuable?
I haven't found it if it exists.
How about,
I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just saying, like, the ones that I have watched, I don't see a lot of value to. Any ones that might be out there that there is value to.
Let him speak, please.
Anything that is out there that there might actually be value to, I think is done a disservice by being associated with somebody who is notorious for deceptive editing, is notorious for asking people misleading questions based on false premises.
Can you just please name one particular edit in particular in the last decade?
That is a really interesting caveat in the last decade. Why did you put that in there, James?
Because on our website it lists one or two corrections I've made in my entire career. And on our wall at our headquarters are 378 corrections made by the media. So when you say you deceptively edit, I would like you to give me one example.
Well, my understanding is that after the case that originally made you notorious, multiple states' attorney generals said that when you looked at the full Acorn footage, that it had been deceptively edited. Now, maybe those multiple states' attorney general are wrong about that. Maybe you just paid out because that was prudent and not because you thought you would lose in court. But given that, not 10 minutes ago, you lied about something I had just said 2 seconds ago, you'll forgive me if I don't take your word for that one.
What did I lie about?
I just said it twice, but I'll say it a third time.
I'll release the full raw video tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm sure you...
James, do you feel that the N-word insinuation that you put on Ben was fair?
Well, you'll see the full raw video tomorrow. So I don't, the journalism is about facts. It's about, there's only one reality. And I really believe in what Tim said. It's every fact loads some value and every value loads some fact. But what's really at heart is what you choose to focus on, what stories you choose. So a legitimate criticism might be, well, why do you choose these subjects? Well, journalists have beats. They focus on one particular area. Seymour Hersh reported on Vietnam. Usually that was his priority. Upton Sinclair focused on the jungle in Chicago. He was an avowed socialist. I don't care what his politics are. I care whether they present the facts without color. That's my view of journalism.
My issue with the corporate press is when they engage in sophistry or they twist the story to try and push a political agenda or to manipulate.
There's a great example I use a lot, Tim. New York Times is obsessed with Project Veritas. We have national security reporters like investigating us, not like the FBI. It's quite ironic. And one of the headlines was, "Documents show how far Veritas undercover deceptive reporting tactics could go before running afoul of federal laws." Well, another way of saying that is that we check with lawyers to make sure everything we do is legal. But do you see how they worded it? It was like, you almost have to like take a magnifying glass with a color in it to like twist it to see what it means. And they do engage, and it's not so much that they say factually incorrect things, they engage in this innuendo, this mendacious sophistry.
Real quick.
Speaking of ABC News, Tim, I know I've talked to you on your show about this. ABC News executive on the hidden camera saying the commercial imperative is incompatible with journalism, which is actually historically a left-wing argument. Noam Chomsky wrote a book called Manufacturing Consent, The Economics of Mass Media. I agree with him that the for-profit mode, if you're chasing dollars, you really can't do journalism.
Ben, how does Jacobin approach these problems?
Yeah, I mean, Jacobin is a independent, meaningfully independent organization. It's not beholden to wealthy investors or stockholders or big donors. So
you just made an insinuation about big donors with Project Veritas. Yes.
Well, I mean, if I'm wrong, please correct me.
Well,
do you not have donors?
Do you think that was a fair insinuation? Do you actually think that James is
Well,
object
if
to
not,
donors?
I mean, the man himself is here. He can tell us. Do you not have donors, James? Because like a lot of that website reads to me, maybe this is wrong, but a lot of it screams to me laid out to show donors what they're getting. So
You said that I'm beholden, quote, it's a direct quote, we have it on video, beholden to donors. That is factually and legally untrue. No donor has ever, and I would swear to it under oath, told me what to do, and yet on this stage in front of all these people in New York City,
oh my God,
you just made
James,
a statement.
stop lying.
You just made a statement of
Not beholden to wealthy investors or stockholders or big donors.
So in a world where you can say that, I've never offered conjecture or characterization in our reports, but you did that right here on a panel about media manipulation. We have nearly 100,000 people who give money to our foundation so that I can be independent. And the fact that the FBI raided our journalists and took our notebooks was so egregious that the American Civil Liberties Union is defending Project Veritas right now. So my question is, will you right now and right here come out against the FBI raiding the homes of journalists and taking their reporter notebooks? Because the ACLU and the Reporters Committee have come out against what happened. Will you do that? Yes or no?
Yeah. Next. So, what the that's not a hard question.
I don't have advertising breaks where people say, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer, brought to you by Pfizer. I don't have advertisers. So when someone is brought to you by Pfizer, doesn't that make it a little difficult to investigate the billion-dollar companies who pay? No donor has ever told us what to do. And you made a statement here today, and what you did was indicative of the very problem in media. You offered your opinion as fact. You said you're beholden by, quote, beholden by your donors, which is legally and fiduciarily untrue. No donor has ever told us what to do.
James, obviously you all are working with whistleblowers on a daily basis, apart from some of the hidden cam stuff. Can you talk to us about how you guys approach whistleblowers?
It's really our mission is to find these people, and to be a whistleblower is to quote Dan Ellsberg, maybe the most famous whistleblower of the 20th century, the Pentagon Papers. It's to step outside the great chain of being, to join another part of society, the margins of society. Feels like outer space. There's someone is with me today. David Johnson was backstage, blew the whistle on Hasbro toys. There he is right there. And was willing to lose his job for the public's right to know. So undercover work is about access. You need to have access, David gave it up. So I think as people put more of a primary value on politics, I mean that means journalism stories or political stories, everything's become so political, I think image will become less important. Image is now so robust that courage is going to be the thing that is the rare thing. We need courage. It's really all about courage, and that's ultimately the most important currency in society is courage.